After looking back at 2024, it's time to look into the future of gaming, and it's looking good. 2025 have some bangers to expect, and in today's video we're going to go over the ones I think are going to be the best. We won't be mentioning games that have already been released but are receiving a port to PC and console. I can't include every game unless you want this video to be 2 hours long, so put the games I've missed that are going to be worth checking out in the comments. Sid Meier's Civilization 7. Civilization is one of those games you start up and before you know it, it is 4 o'clock in the night. It's so easy to get lost in these strategy games, and while Civ 6 never really did it for me, I have high hopes for Civ 7. A big and perhaps controversial change is the separate selection of the leader in Civilization. Whereas you normally had Napoleon for France or Bismarck for Germany, you can now select civilizations and leaders that normally wouldn't match. This is a break from realism, but it increases replayability and creates a completely new layer of strategy. This feature will make this game either loved or hated. Like a Dragon, pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. It's time for the next spin-off game in a long list of Yakuza Like a Dragon games. To those who've seen other videos on my channel know that I absolutely adore this franchise and intend to complete all of them. Easier said than done, as these are gigantic games to complete. Regardless, any game where Goro Majima is in the lead is a 10 out of 10 for me, as he's my absolute favorite character of the franchise. While it's a spin-off, they tend to perform really well, and it isn't just a gimmick. Curious to see how high they cranked up the madness this time. Borderlands 4. So I've been done with Borderlands ever since the pre-sequel came out, and personally I felt there wasn't much more to explore that they haven't already done in Borderlands 2. I tried Borderlands 3 as well, but I constantly felt that I've already done everything before. With the abomination that is the Borderlands movie, I honestly felt that this franchise was doomed to die. But here's Borderlands 4. I really want to like this game, because the best memories I have of Borderlands is getting online with your mates and absolutely wreak havoc while having a brew or 10. I really hope this installment is able to reignite the old memories I have of the franchise without having to rely on the same old song and dance. Death Stranding 2. The original Death Stranding was so weird that it took people years to appreciate it, and I'm still not sure on where I stand. Having said that, the trailers they've released for Death Stranding 2 intrigued me. I have this gut feeling Death Stranding is going to break borders once again, and we'll be talking about it again for months to come. Whether it's going to be good, it's a totally different discussion, as I'm sure people are going to be divided over it. At the very least, it's going to be very interesting, and I think it's time to replay the first one to try to remember what it was all about. Doom: The Dark Ages. It's Doom. It'll be exactly as you expect. Blasting death metal, eviscerating enemies, brutal weapons, and absolute total carnage. Doom will always be a shooter that does not disappoint. And it's a franchise I rate much higher than any other modern shooter. If only for the music. Elden Ring, Nightreign. So, who had new Elden Ring in 2025 on their bingo card? Because if so, you win a cookie. This game absolutely blindsided me, and what it actually is, even more. I absolutely adore roguelike games, especially those revolved around loot. Now, we're getting a combination of that and Elden Ring with proper multiplayer. I never knew I needed this, but I really need this. I feel Nightreign will cause more people to fall in love with the roguelike genre who weren't interested in it before. Also, give Binding of Isaac a try. Fable. Fable returns. Fable is one of those franchises where it was obvious the developers weren't sure what they actually wanted to do with the games. Fable 1 started out strong, while Fable 2 for others was the very best in the franchise. After that, it took quite a nosedive for many, which it never really recovered from, with a cancellation of Fable Legends as a result. Fable 2025 has potential, but I'm cautiously excited for it. Mafia, the old country. We're finally getting a Mafia in Sicily. How long did that have to take? The atmosphere is going to be amazing, and climbing up the ranks within an Italian mob will be very exciting. I fondly remember the days of playing the original Mafia 1 and being a part of a family of different characters that absolutely went to shits. I really hope there's enough drama and intrigue for us here, because that's what these games do best. Metroid Prime 4. Surely this year Metroid Prime 4 will release, right? I can't even remember when Metroid Prime 4 was announced. Let me Let me check that out. What? 2017? Dear God. Safe to say, Metroid fans have been waiting a very, very, very long time for a new 3D Metroid game, and they'll rejoice once the game finally hit the shelves. The wait is almost over, friends. Soon. Pokemon Legends ZA. Pokemon Legends Arceus was one of my biggest surprises in 2022. I bought the game on holiday and finished it in the same week. It got me hooked and hooked good. It was such a refreshing approach to this series, and while I hoped the previous installment would receive more support, more releases and content, instead we're getting a sequel, with the weirdest name ever, by the way. If it's any good as Arceus, this will be an entertaining game to play. I hope it addresses a lot of the cut content from X and Y, because Zygarde is probably the most ignored legendary in its generation of games. We're also finally seeing Mega Evolutions return, including new ones as well. Grand Theft Auto 6. We couldn't end the video without mentioning Grand Theft Auto 6. I think it's wild to me that Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for 12 years already, originally released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I can't even believe I'm saying that. It's probably one of the most ported games in the world after Skyrim or Doom. But after 12 years, we're finally receiving a new installment. This game will break box offices and set sale records just from the fact it's Grand Theft Auto 6. I hope it has tons of craziness in them, a lot of things to discover, and less of these open plains and areas where there's nothing to do. People of all generations will have memory of this game, just as they had of Grand Theft Auto 5. I just can't believe I've been playing GTA since 1997. How times have changed. What did I miss? Make sure to drop these games in the comments and let's talk about them.